Mayor Mike Purzycki. So nice to see you looking so well. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, I feel good. Post having my chest opened up.
Yep. Well, I've got a little taste of that with my spouse.
Right.
So you know what, though? It's warm out and things are blooming and thoughts turn to, let's start with the light stuff. Outdoor events. Here in our state's largest city, we have the largest cultural arts, sports. We have neighborhood festivals. What are you thinking, feeling about opening up here?
Well, I think what everybody has been inclined to do for even through the worst of the pandemic is to be outside, to feel a little bit better outside than inside. And now it looks like the data is pretty clear that you're far safer being in an outside environment rather than being in an internal stuffy place. And now the CD said, look, you're vaccinated and you're outside, you don't even have to wear a mask. So of course, yesterday I had our police officers come over to the house and do some calisthenics with them, which is kind of fun. I didn't wear a mask, and I said to them, this is with the approval of the CDC. I'm vaccinated, I don't have to wear a mask. I said, what's the first thing that happened? I got people posting, Purzycki, stop being so reckless, wear your mask. I'm like, okay.
Well, Mike,
I think that's what's going to happen is we're doing this by braille a little bit. And so I think we're trying to feel our way to where's the right place to be. We expect to do Clifford Brown this summer. We expect to have other outdoor events. We expect to promote outdoor dining. What we don't know, obviously, is who's vaccinated and who's not. And I think that what I'm worried about ever so slightly, I think, is that those of us who are fully vaccinated will be not wearing masks when we're outside. And I think it sends kind of an implicit message that it's okay not to wear a mask. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this happens. Frankly, I have no idea what goes on in the minds of people who say we're not going to get the shots.
Well, there was quite the article I'm sure you read this morning about young people now resisting, and it's shocking. I mean, they feel immune, and
young people have always felt immune, and so you can semi-understand that.
Well, you want to say though, do you want to kill your grandmother? Get your dang shot, right?
I guess. I'm too old to figure some of this stuff.
You are not. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the city now. Most businesses and organizations seem to have weathered the storm and gotten through this, huh?
It's so true. I speak to a lot of restaurateurs who were terribly adversely affected early on. And I think the combination of the PPP and then some state grants that were given to restaurants, it helped them weather the worst of it. And now I think they're in real world mode and they're just trying to survive the best they can with reduced clientele. And so they still have certain restrictions on how many people can be dining, but you feel that it's all coming back now. And especially with the idea, everybody's got outdoor dining now. So when you do that, you're going to see a lot of people coming out because we're all been through cabin fever. We're all tired of not interacting. We're tired of not touching one another, hugging one another. Even shaking hands is a luxury. So, I think they're doing fine. I think our performing arts folks went through the same thing. They've gotten some grants and PPP, but now they're on their own, and I don't know what's going to happen when they open up and people are going to be.
And they're being creative with outdoor events and creative arts people being creative, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if that model works financially, but we're going to do everything we can to support them. No, we're not coming through this and have an impaired cultural arts community.
What about our minor league baseball team at Frawley Stadium? Any word on that?
Yeah, they're back. Yeah, we've got it's associated with a different league. The league is located closer to home. That I think the farthest team in this little conference is 60 or 70 miles away instead of, so far away. So I think the crowds will be better because we're going to get people traveling from, a location right across the line in Maryland up here, whereas before it was too far to travel. So I'm thrilled with it. The Blue Rocks have been really an important part of our kind of our sports culture, to be sure.
Absolutely. And anything happening at 76ers, nay Chase?
Well, the 76ers field house has been an extraordinary blessing to all of us in this community. They've got so many things going on. And a lot of it, but frankly, is kids from our neighborhoods playing in a bunch of different conferences or leagues or events that get them into the big leagues a little bit. So they keep it very well programmed that way. And of course, then the Blue Coats will be back when the basketball season starts, presumably. And they'll be back on a regular schedule. But that's that whole complex has been an extraordinary blessing.
Absolutely. Now, of course, if you live in Wilmington, we're at this time of the year, you're looking forward to the Italian festival and the Greek festival. And
yeah, right. I'm not sure where we are. I'm not sure I would be that bullish because it's really, it's just on the cusp. They're June events, and boy, that seems awfully close. So there's someone in my office who could give you an exact forecast, but I'm not sure what it is. I know we're nervous about those two.
Sure.
Clifford Brown is August, and we're thinking we could probably do some things for social distancing. We're all outdoors, stay masked up, and everything will be fine. So we'll see. I love those events, so I hope we can do them.
We are a city of neighborhoods, as you always say. Speaking of neighborhoods, when we were kids, 95 came barreling through the city and divided us up. And there's some talk now about capping a portion of it during the reconstruction and creating an urban park that would bring the two sides of the city back together. You got a feeling about that?
At the risk of upsetting a lot of people, I've never bought into the story that the only problem with the city is that I-95 bifurcated it and that this created the problems that we're having in our city. I'm sorry, I don't accept it. And I don't, I think it might be a nice amenity. There's no reason to be not. I mean, is it going to get both of these sides to be a closer neighborhood? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not, if you like to do these things because you want to build a park and you think it has some utility, closing off a highway, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset by it, but I don't buy the whole premise that the problem with the city is I-95's construction. No, therefore this is going to solve it.
Take it lighter though. As you say, it might be a very nice amenity. Unusual. I think they put a tunnel under part of it, and it might be an interesting amenity anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Next subject.
If we can get heavy just for a moment, though, of course, we continue to have difficulty with gun violence and violence in some of our neighborhoods. And I know everybody's trying. What's it going to take?
So, I've said my response about this has been consistent since I started running for office, and that is that violence isn't a problem; it's a symptom of the problem. When you have degraded neighborhoods, when you've got slums that kids are brought up in, when you've got broken institutions, families, churches, and the only institution left is our schools, and we've got a system that was intended with one purpose, and that was desegregation, and it turned out to be, by any sensible assessment, less than successful, one might argue a failure, we're still paying the price of that. Our kids go to 10 different high schools all over the county, and there is no city high school here. There's no cultural center in the education side of things. So, this is a real serious problem that I think everybody can own. Back 40 years, we can all own what we did. We didn't support these schools, and then we had a judge come in and say, here's how you're going to do this. And so I think in large measure that would be, that I would look back to that and say that was a seminal event that probably started to change things. Now we have to go fix it. And I think everybody looks at it and says, I'm not sure how to fix it. So when you come to me and say, okay, Mayor, what are you going to do? I will tell you that all the little solutions everybody has have never proven to work. Get interrupters, getting mentors out there, on and on and on. The execution is usually so poor that nothing works. We have to rebuild. We have to rebuild our neighborhoods. We have to take neighborhoods that are run down and make them look like middle-class neighborhoods, healthy environments that kids grow up in. We already spent $11 million on parks and recreation centers in the city. Not that they're used as much as they used to be, but we've got to promote those pro-healthy activities for young people, and let them see some successes. We are going to do, for example, we're going to wind up spending tens of millions of dollars on rebuilding our communities, rebuilding our neighborhoods, demoing buildings and rebuilding others. And what we intend to do, in addition to having minority contractors do the work, we want minority contractors to have an apprenticeship program that brings in kids who've never thought about holding a hammer in their lives and learning that, A, this is a great way to make a living, and boy, making a good living, not nickel and dime per hour stuff. You can live a different life this way. And then you start to see men who in your community become role models for you.
Sure.
There's no other way to do this. Everything you call a program, I'm highly suspicious of. You might help a couple of kids, you might help a few people, but you're not changing the value system and mores of the community that has led us to this. And so, it's a little bit difficult for me, a pretty middle-class guy, to walk in here and say, here's how you ought to do it. But you elected me for my judgment, and this is my judgment.
No, I think you're spot on. People have to feel like there are opportunities for them, real opportunities. And that's going to take, unfortunately, I think, a long time to evolve.
Yep.
So,
I got a great police chief. I got a great police department. They do great work. They took 300 guns off the street last year. They're up by 50% this year. They're doing their job, but too many guns on the street. We got a criminal justice system that has not had a criminal trial in over a year, 13 months now. And we have too many guys out on the streets who are chronic gun offenders. We got to get them off the street. And then I think you'll start to see a little bit of change in the way this violent crime occurs in our streets.
All right, final question. These are short. Are you glad you ran? Not once, but twice?
Yes. Never had a moment's regret. I get up every morning looking forward to my day. It's not easy. It's frustrating at times. But at my age, being able to get up and do something that has real meaning is a blessing.
So I just read this morning about a woman who just died in France, 122. She drank wine and ate chocolate and rode a bicycle every day.
The bicycle part was very good.
So you might have a very long way to go. Mayor Mike Purzycki, thank you. May I check back in with you?
Sure.